Dear class 10 students, here I am with the continuation of chapter number 8, that is the circulatory system. Okay, so here in this particular session we'll talk about the human heart. Okay, the structure of human heart and the different parts present there in the human heart. That means the different parts of the human heart and the role played by them there in the circulatory system. Okay, and see the human heart. First, let us talk about the location. Okay, the first point that I have to talk about the human heart is the location where it is present. As you know that this is present here in the center of the two lungs. Okay, this is there in the chest region. It is found in the center of the two lungs above the diaphragm. Okay, there is diaphragm. Just above the diaphragm the heart is located. Okay, and it is felt that or it is usually believed that the heart is in the left side of the chest, but it is not true. But what it happens is that usually this part, this pointed part of the heart only is slightly tilted towards the left. Okay, and during the working, okay, when the heart works, that time what happens is that the force, okay, a heavy force will be developed here at this particular pointed region of the heart. That's why that the heavy force during the working of the heart is felt there in the left. Okay, there in the the pointed part of the heart, which is tilted towards the left side of the heart. That's why it is felt that it is somewhere there in the left side of the chest, but it is not true. But exactly it is in the center of the chest, in between the two lungs above the diaphragm. Okay, that is the location of the heart. Then covering. See, this heart is covered by a double membranous covering called pericardium. Please remember the word called pericardium. It is there in the book itself. It was discussed there in the last live session also. Okay, there is a double membranous covering called pericardium. Please remember. So this pericardium, okay, pericardium, P-E-R-I-C-A-R-D-I-U-M, pericardium, as I've told you, has two membranes there, and okay, in between these two membranes there is a fluid substance. There is a fluid substance called pericardial fluid. What do you call it? Pericardial fluid. So this pericardial fluid is very important to avoid the friction. Okay, to avoid the friction between these two membranes during the working of this heart. And also this fluid substance, which is called pericardial fluid, protects the heart from mechanical injuries also. Okay, so that is the covering called pericardium. In between there is a fluid substance called pericardial fluid. Then coming to the chambers, see, so human heart is a four-chambered heart. Okay, so human heart has got four chambers there, and there are two auricles and two ventricles. Two auricles are also termed as atrium. Each auricle is also termed as atrium, A-T-R-I-U-M, atrium or auricle. Okay, and there are the plural form of atrium is atria. So there are two atria, or in the normal common term it is called auricle, or two auricles are there which are in the above, okay, which is in the upper region of the heart. Okay, or these upper chambers of the heart are called auricles or atria. So right auricle and left auricle, right atrium or left atrium, please remember. And the lower chambers, okay, down there just below that upper chambers, there are ventricles. Okay, there are two ventricles, so right ventricles and the left ventricles. All right, so this your atrium, atria, or the that your auricles have got the thinner wall comparatively. Okay, that means in comparison to this, the wall of the ventricles, the wall here in the auricle region is thinner. Why? Because it just have to, they just have to receive the blood from the lungs and just have to supply the blood here only, just down there in the lower chambers only. Okay, that's why the wall out here is thinner in comparison to the wall here in the ventricles. But here in the ventricle region, you see the walls are the walls. Okay, this wall, and here you see the wall, or commonly the wall present down there in the ventricle region is thicker than here. Why? Because the blood from here has to be pushed to the different parts of the body. Okay, that's why the wall here is thicker than the wall present here in the auricle regions. Okay, then coming to the blood vessels, I mean blood ventricles. Okay, I mean your, what do you call it, your blood vessels entering heart, blood vessels entering your heart. Before going into it, let me tell you the function of these chambers also. Okay, see here, this side, right side, alright, this right side I have tried to label it with the blue color. See here, blue. Why it is blue? Because the blood in this region is usually deoxygenated blood, okay, or the blood not pure, which is rich in carbon dioxide. Alright, so yeah, so your right side. So in a common sense, what you can also understand is that your right side of the heart is responsible for dealing with the impure blood, deoxygenated blood, which means blood rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, and the other side, left side of the heart, is responsible for dealing with the pure blood or oxygenated blood. So as far as the function of each chamber of this heart is concerned, see, your right auricle is to receive the blood, okay, is to receive the blood, impure blood from the different parts of the body. Okay, different parts of the body through this, large, what do you call that, your vessels called, superior or anterior vena cava, and the that your other one, your inferior or posterior vena cava, from the different regions of the body. Okay, whereas the left auricle has the function of receiving the pure blood or oxygenated blood from the lungs after the purification. That means when the lungs receive the impure blood, okay, impure blood, so that will be reoxygenated. That means the purification of that blood takes place there in the lungs. So after the purification, that pure blood will be brought to the lungs through this, pulmonary veins. Okay, there are four pulmonary veins, or two pairs of pulmonary veins, each pair coming from the each lung. That means we have got two lungs, so each pair of pulmonary veins come from each lung, and that pure blood will be brought to your left auricle. Okay, then the function of these two ventricles, is just to receive the blood from here. So from this upper this auricle, the blood will be supplied to the your left ventricle. Similarly, right auricle will supply the blood to the right ventricle, and after that, these two ventricles will push out the blood to the different parts of the body through these respective vessels. I'll come to these vessels also afterwards. Okay, then these two sides, see here, these two sides, your right side and left side of the heart, is separated by means of this part called septum. Remember here, this is your septum. Okay, septum is the region which partitions these two sides of the heart, right and left. Okay, then okay, so that's all about your chambers. Okay, four chambers of the heart, and their functions also were just now told. Now coming to the blood vessels entering the heart. Blood vessels entering the heart. This is there in your syllabus. Which are the blood vessels that enter the heart? See here. So the blood vessels entering the heart, you see here, this superior vena cava, or anterior vena cava also. It is called superior or anterior vena cava, is the one which collects the impure blood, that means deoxygenated blood from the upper region of the body into the right auricle. Similarly, your blood vessel is there, which is called inferior or posterior vena cava. Will collect the impure blood from the lower part of the body, okay, leg region, okay. So from those regions, that means your lower part of the body to the right auricle. That means two blood vessels, these two blood vessels are entering into the heart. Which heart? Part of the heart? Right auricle. Similarly, there are two pairs of pulmonary veins. Two pairs of pulmonary veins, as I told you before also. So each pair of the pulmonary veins coming from each lung, okay, will also enter the heart. Which part of the heart? Left auricle of the heart, because they will bring the oxygenated blood. Okay, the blood after purification will be brought to this, left auricle by these two pairs of pulmonary veins. So, which are the blood vessels entering the heart now? We came to know that the blood vessels which are entering the heart are superior or anterior vena cava and inferior or posterior vena cava, which all bring the impure blood into the right auricle, and other two pairs of pulmonary veins, okay, coming from each lung into the left auricle of the heart. So these are the blood vessels entering the heart. Then another one, blood vessels leaving the heart. Which are the blood vessels that leave the heart? Which are there in your syllabus also, please remember. See, these blood vessels here, you see here, mainly aorta is there. Aorta, this is the largest artery. Okay, the largest artery is called aorta. Okay, see here, which is originated from here. Okay, that will directly direct into the ventricle. Okay, left ventricle. Okay, this aorta, or this all are arteries. Okay, they are all arteries. When aorta is branched out into number of branches, then it is then they are called arteries. Okay, aorta. Then your pulmonary artery here, pulmonary artery, which is going to the left lung, and another pulmonary artery, you see here, pulmonary artery going to the right lung. So these two, your aorta and pulmonary artery, okay, one going to the left lung, the other one going to the your right lung, are the blood vessels leaving the heart. Okay, these are the blood vessels leaving the heart. Okay, please remember, they are the ones which leave the heart. Then coronary artery and veins, some other blood vessels are also there. Okay, this heart is something like a bank manager. I mean, this heart is something like a bank manager. There in the bank, you find a manager who channelizes the money to be given to the customers. Okay, as if he doesn't need the money. He also needs the money, and he collects the money in the form of his salary. Similarly, this heart, though supplies the blood to the different parts of the body, also needs blood. Okay, and which are the blood vessels that supply the blood to them, to the muscles of the heart? So they are coronary arteries. What are they? Coronary arteries. And after the use of the blood, all those impure blood again will be collected by the blood vessels, and that blood vessels are named as coronary veins. Though here it is not shown, but in the book, okay, page number 99, this diagram shows the coronary arteries and coronary veins. The purpose and the function of these coronary arteries is the same as you see here in other cases. See, coronary artery will carry the blood to the wall or to the muscles of the heart. Similarly, coronary veins collect the impure blood from the muscles of the heart. Okay, collect the impure blood from the muscles of the heart and bring it back to the right auricle, and from there it will be taken down to the right ventricle, and from there it will be sent to the lungs for the purification. Okay, this is how it happens. And sometimes what happens is that these coronary arteries, okay, the blood vessels which are supplying the blood to the muscles of the heart, sometimes what happens is that get blocked. Okay, these vessels, coronary arteries, sometimes get blocked. Consequently, the blood cannot be supplied to the muscles of the heart. At that time, the problem will be there, which is commonly called heart attack. which even kill the people, which even kill the persons there, if that heart attack takes place there, which is also called myocardial infarction. Myocardial infarction. There is no place to write it here, but please see there in the book itself. It is here. Here it is here, myocardial infarction. Okay, and sometimes what also happen is that there will be an acute pain there in the chest, which is called angina pectoris. Angina pectoris. This happens when there is the insufficient supply of the blood to the muscles of the heart. Okay, so this is the different parts of the blood vessels I've told you just now. Then 4 valves. Now the valves are also there, which are very much important out here, and the functions of the valves out here is to allow the blood to flow only in one direction. Okay, it will make the blood flow in unidirection where it is supposed to go, so it will allow to go that direction only. Okay, the main function of the valve is to allow the blood to flow only in one direction. Okay, so those 4 valves, see here, I'll begin with here. I'll begin with this, the valves out here. See, the valves between the left auricle and the left ventricle. See here, the valve between this left auricle and left ventricle. See, there are, valve. There is a valve called bicuspid valve, which has got 2 flaps out here. See here, 1, 2 flaps, so that they are called bicuspid valve. And the function of this bicuspid valve is to allow the blood to flow from left auricle to left ventricle only, so that the blood will not flow back to this. It will not allow. So once it has to go down, okay, during the contraction of this one, it will open so that blood will flow here. Okay, then when this region is contracted, that time the blood has to flow through this artery or aorta. So that time these 2 valves, or this valve which is called bicuspid valve, will be closed so that blood will not flow back to the auricle. The function of this valve is to make the blood flow from here to here only. Similarly, tricuspid valve also is there, which has got 3 flaps. So, and this valve is between the right auricle and right ventricle. Okay, which will also allow the blood flow from only here to here. Then other 2 valves are there, which is called semilunar valve of aorta. Here, the valve. So here also you find a valve which is called semilunar valve of aorta in the opening of this aorta. Okay, when the blood has to flow through this from ventricle during the contraction of this one, that time it will open so that blood will flow here. Okay, and it will not allow the blood to flow downward back to the ventricle. Similarly, so another valve is here. Here, which is called semilunar valve of pulmonary artery. Same thing here. So when the blood, this region is contracted, the impure blood will be flowing through here and will go to the right lung and the left lung, so that blood will not flow back downward. Okay, so which means the function of the valve is to allow the blood to flow only in one direction. All right, now we'll see how the heart works or functions. Okay, and you see this heart first, as you know that what actually happens there is that contraction and relaxation. Okay, systole and diastole of the heart. Okay, so that your blood goes inside and from the heart it goes out. So this all takes place. Okay, so in that course, especially we find the term used called heartbeat. That means during that time, okay, during the contraction and relaxation of the heart as a whole, what happens is that a kind of sound is heard, okay, or some kind of beating is heard, which is called heartbeat. It's called what? Heartbeat. So for the heartbeat, first what happens is that this upper region of the heart, which are called auricles or arteria, okay, will contract first. Okay, it will contract first. So when these 2 contract, So that time the blood collected in this region will be pushed down to the respective ventricles. That means from left side to left auricle to left ventricle and right auricle to right ventricle. Okay, so that takes place, and for that contraction, which is called systole. Okay, systole, remember the biological term used out here, systole. Systole of the contraction takes, you see, 0.15 second. Okay, the time given, the time this the time, okay, contraction of the auricles takes is 0.15 second. Then after that, what happens, this portion, after receiving the blood from this region, this ventricle will also contract. Okay, so which is called contraction of the that your ventricle, or the systole of ventricle. So that during that contraction, when it contracts or when these ventricles contract, that time the blood, okay, after the blood which was collected by these two regions will be pushed out to the different parts of the body through these respective vessels. So from here, from the left region, this aorta is there, which will collect the blood, pure blood from this region. Please remember, the pure blood to the different parts of the body. And from this right ventricle, okay, that impure blood will be going through these pulmonary arteries, okay, to the left lung, and these pulmonary arteries to the right lung for purification. During that contraction, what happens is that the blood will be going to those regions, as I said just now. So that contraction takes 0.30 second. Okay, 0.30 second, that much time it takes. Then after the contraction of each chambers, they will go for the relaxation also, they will relax also. Okay, so that relaxation of the that your chambers of the heart is called diastole. Systole and diastole. Systole means contraction, diastole means relaxation. So that relaxation of the chambers takes 0.4 second. 0.4 second. So altogether in total, 0.85 second it takes. That means for each heartbeat, for one heartbeat, for each heartbeat, okay, to complete one heartbeat, it takes place, it requires 0.85 second. Okay, that means each heartbeat takes place in 0.85 second. Okay, so this is how the heartbeat takes place, means contraction of the your first atria, then followed by the contraction of these ventricles, and also the relaxation of them causes a kind of beat which is called heartbeat, and it takes 0.85 second. Okay, so this is how the heartbeat takes place. Now I'll just tell you the entire course of circulation of blood through the heart, through the human heart. All right, now see, as I've already told you that these two regions are there, right auricle and left auricle, which are responsible for receiving the blood from the different parts of the body. Okay, so this left auricle receives the blood from the two lungs after the purification of the blood. Okay, and this right auricle receives the blood from the different parts of the body through this superior vena cava and inferior vena cava. Superior vena cava is also called anterior vena cava, which I already have told you that this superior vena cava collects the blood from the upper region of the body, and this posterior or inferior vena cava collects the impure blood from the lower region of the body into the right auricle. Okay, then when they contract, the systole of the auricles causes the flow of the blood into the respective ventricles. So from left auricle to the left ventricle, from right auricle to the right ventricle. Okay, so that time the respective valves, bicuspid valve and the tricuspid valve will open, and through this the blood will go into the respective chambers of the ventricles. Okay, then then what will happen is that then these ventricles will now contract. The systole of this your ventricle will take place. Consequently, a huge force is pumped. That force will cause the flow of the blood through this respective blood vessels. So from the left ventricle, the pure blood, remember the pure blood will flow through this aorta, okay, then arteries to the different parts of the body, and from the right ventricle the blood will force out through these pulmonary arteries, okay, to where? To the lungs. For what? For purification. Okay, then after the purification, the pure blood will be brought back again to the this your right left auricle. So this cycle goes on. This is how the blood vessels, the heart will circulate the blood to the different parts of the body, or this is the course of circulation of blood through the human heart. Okay, so then afterwards we even find the word called blood pressure. What is blood pressure? Blood pressure means when the blood flows through the aorta with the heavy force, with the heavy pressure. So that pressure will exert on the wall of the artery. So that pressure is called blood pressure. Okay, so this is all about the course of circulation of blood through the human heart. So today I think we'll do only this much. I hope you people have understood everything or all about the human heart. Okay, so today we'll do only this much. Thank you very much.